Video is not like any of my other videos. This is for entertainment purposes for mainly me. During this quarantine it's been very boring, so I just thought if I wrote some short stories about a fake history of Australia, it could be fun. So if you guys aren't really into that, just click off the video, I don't really care. But if you are, stay tuned because I'm planning on doing more. It's really fun. So yeah, thanks guys, and hopefully you enjoy the video. Warning, the side effects of the contents of this videos can include
dizziness, headaches, migraines, back pains, carpal tunnel tiredness, paraplegia, quadriplegia, death, and infinite orgasms.
Long ago, there was an ancient people that lived in harmony of coexisting tribes on the land of Australia. There were 16 different tribes, all with their own skills to supply all other tribes with needed material. The one we are focusing on is the Sense tribe, who are the scholars and the teachers. Their job was to learn and then teach the next generation, but to also preserve the knowledge they had gained. It is said that the vault where these scrolls are hidden still exists, but it is yet to be found. The Sense tribe had very close ties with the Industrial tribe, who would build their structures if in turn the Sense tribe would teach their children. But this land was not always known as Australia. In these times, it was called Bloodvale. In modern language, Bloodvale means land of death. It was given this name after the Shred. The Shred was a mass event where beasts of massive size and scaly bodies had torn their way up from the fiery pits of hell through the ground to terrorize the people of Bloodvale. Instinctively, the tribe leader guided their own separate tribes to safety. This is where the scholars found it to be very advantageous to build bungalows in the tall pineberry trees. They were ripped away from all the other tribes that they had lived with in peace to stay safe, living in the trees to escape the beast that had spread throughout the land. They were thought to be the only people to survive the threats of the land because of their superior intelligence. Then, after a few hundred years of living in exile in the trees, a girl by the name of Manuka was born. She was the fourth daughter of her parents. Her mother was also the fourth daughter of her parents. Something about this made her different to the rest of the tribe. It gave her the nomadic spirit they once had before being self-imprisoned in the trees. It gave her the courage to go down to surface level and explore. After 10 days of packing, she set out on an adventure, leaving her family behind, not knowing if she would ever see them again. As she left, she turned to see her mother's head buried in her father's chest, sobbing. This brought great pain to her, but she had a mission: to find any other survivors or an answer of how to reclaim the land they had once called their own. She travelled for 8 long days. After each, the exhaustion was more. It felt like she was carrying a bag that was gradually being filled with sand. Finally, on her 9th day, she stumbled upon this wide crater forced into the earth's surface, like God had brought his fist down upon it in rage. There were a lot of open caves scattered around the crater, but at the apex of it was a hatch with weird etchings engraved into it. She went down, pulled on the handle, but was surprised to find it didn't open, almost like it was being held still from the inside. So, she trudged into one of the nearby caves. She went walking down it for about an hour and a half. The cave was dark, with only the slight glimmer of cavern caterwauls, a species that emitted a faint glow and feast off of the blue moss growing from the walls. Finally, she came to the end of the cavern. She found a rune glowing bioluminescent blue. As she edged closer to it, it became brighter and brighter until it was burning out her retinas. It had started to heat up, to the point she felt like she was in direct contact with the sun, but she was persistent on it. So, she turned the other way, and buried her head into her clothing to block out the light, then slathered her body in the dew of the cave to keep her body temperature from increasing. She reached it, placing her hand on it. Suddenly, her body jolted to be as stiff as a board. She was removed from her body, looking at her body in a third-person perspective, as if somebody was wearing it, and she had to watch. But she was shocked to see her lifeless body rise into the air, its eyes glowing a bright tone of blue. Then it snapped its head in her direction, its mouth moving. A voice that sounded like a blackboard being scratched came from it, saying,